Welcome to Magica, the medical mystery education hub. Now let's begin our third video under the series of blood clotting, clotting factors, and coagulation cascade. Before watching the video on coagulation cascade, make sure that you have watched our previous video on clotting factors, and link for the same is in description below. Coagulation cascade. The coagulation cascade refers to the coagulation process leading to hemostasis. There are several models of coagulation cascade. We have the intrinsic model, the extrinsic, and the cellular coagulation model. The coagulation process leading to hemostasis involves a complex number of reactions involving approximately 30 distinct proteins. The coagulation pathway are basically of two types. We have the intrinsic pathway and we have the extrinsic pathway. Now let's talk about the overview of the reactions. The intrinsic pathway and the extrinsic pathway both together leads to the activation of factor number 10, that is the formation of prothrombin activator, which is the activated form of factor number 10. When the prothrombin activator is formed, it then combines with calcium ions and convert the prothrombin to its activated form, that is the thrombin. And once the thrombin is formed, it converts the fibrinogen to its activated form to fibrin monomer. And when fibrin monomer is formed, it is unstable, so it needs to be stabilized. So with the help of factor number 13 and the calcium ions, it gets converted into fibrin polymer, and fibrin polymer attracts platelets and the phospholipids, which eventually leads to the formation of clot. And fibrin polymer is also known as fibrin mesh. Now let's talk about the extrinsic pathway. This pathway begins whenever there is trauma to the tissue, and whenever there is trauma to the tissue, it leads to the release of the tissue factor, that is the factor number 3. It is also known as tissue thromboplastin. This tissue factor activates the factor number 7 to its activated form, that is the 7A. And when the factor number 7A is formed, it then combines with the tissue factor and the calcium ions to convert the inactivated factor number 10 to its activated form, that is 10A. And when the 10A is formed, it then combines with factor number 5 and the calcium ions to form the prothrombin activator. And the rest of the reactions are similar as shown in the previous one. Now let's talk about the intrinsic pathway. This pathway begins whenever there is trauma to blood cells or exposure of blood cell to collagen, which results in the activation of factor number 12 to 12A. And when the 12A is formed, it then activates the inactivated factor number 11 to its activated form, that is 11A. And when the 11A is formed, it then activates the factor number 9, that is inactivated, to its activated form 9A. And when the factor number 9A is formed, it then combines with the activated factor number 8. These reaction also involves some cofactors, that is the high molecular kinase and calcium ions. 9A then combines with factor number 8A, that is the activated form, and the calcium ions to convert the factor number 10 to its activated form, that is the factor number 10A. And then the factor number 10A combines with the calcium ions and the factor number 5 to form the prothrombin activator. And the rest of the reactions are similar as shown in the previous one. Now let's talk about the summary of the whole process. The intrinsic pathway and the extrinsic pathway, they lead to the activation of prothrombin activator, which is the activated form of factor number 10. Then this combines with the calcium ions to convert the prothrombin into thrombin. And once thrombin is formed, it converts the fibrinogen into the fibrin monomer. And when fibrin monomer is formed, it gets converted into fibrin polymer with the help of fibrin stabilizing factor and the calcium ions, and leads to the formation of fibrin mesh. Then this fibrin mesh attracts platelets and phospholipids, which eventually leads to formation of clot. This was all about the coagulation cascade. Thank you for watching our video on coagulation cascade. Hope you like this video. You can follow us on different social media platforms on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.